The appeal for the project for me was not only is it something incredibly relevant to now, a century after the First World War, but also for me the First World War was really the game changer in Australia, which brought us together as a nation, for me personally a lot more than the event of federation a couple of decades previously. And it seemed to me very important to somehow produce something which would be encompassing across the state, because the memorial is for New South Wales and it is for the First World War, even though of course it also honours the other wars that Australia has participated in. So I wanted to find a way to very simply make reference to that.
I think the Centenary Project in a way is doing a number of things. It's completing Bruce Dellett's vision with the cascade to the south of the existing memorial. It's also providing contemporary facilities, much needed for education and interpretation. And finally, also another contemporary symbolic space, the Hall of Service. It's carrying on the tradition of Hoff and Dellett of integrating art and architecture. So I think we went through a process of shortlisting some of Australia's best art practitioners who might be able to bring an interpretation and a level of thinking up to this challenge, and went through a limited competition process to select Fiona.
I asked for a list of the place names and I was going to put them in the floor with soil samples. And I could not believe the length of the list when I received it. It was about 1,700 names, so it's like, yikes, that's not fitting in the floor. It'll be on the walls, which from my perspective is fantastic because it gives the unremitting visual rendition of the enormity of the answer to the call of service for the First World War. It's like, it's staggering, you know, how many people signed up from across the state, because that's something I didn't really understand when I was a teenager, but I do now. And so in my lifetime, that's really brought home the horrors of war, but the need to respect people who give service to go and fight battles on our behalf. The soil represents our origins, our home base, and I believe we are not just, you know, from a place in terms of what's on our birth certificate, but we are the very makeup of that place. And so the idea of the home soil that we all come from and the foreign soil where we might die. I mean, even for people who aren't killed in war, if the bodies of the fallen can't be brought back to their home base, it's actually very, very distressing for families and communities. So that seemed to be a very important inclusion.
All right, yeah. Seal of approval?
Yes. Yes. I wanted to include the botanical specimens which we associate with the First World War. They're the plants which we express emotions and memory with subsequent wars as well. It's hard to imagine an Anzac Day or Remembrance Day without these plants. War's a dividing thing, but it's also a uniting thing because there's so much tragedy on every side. It becomes very powerful because it's like, you know, we're all part of it. We're all in this together.